Every 10 to 20 years, a new technology changes how we make music and how audiences find it. Tape, MIDI, DAWs, streaming, and now AI. If you're a creator, a composer, or just curious where music is headed, I'll show you the full timeline, the cycles of music innovation, and why AI is simply the next turn of the wheel, not the end of the musician. Now, before we dive into music, let's have a little history lesson. I was at a technology conference last week and saw this concept on screen, and it kind of blew my mind and made me think of this video. So innovation doesn't arrive randomly. It comes in waves that reshape the economy and our daily lives. We've seen it over and over. Here's the pattern each time. A new technology appears, it disrupts, it's resisted, then it becomes normal. And the world recognizes and reorganizes around it until the next wave arrives. And yes, disruption has real churn. For example, during the PC revolution of the 1980s, about 4.1 million companies failed, but 4.6 million were born, and about $15 trillion in net wealth was created. Same thing happened in the 90s, 4.5 million businesses closed, but 4.6 new ones were created. Same thing for desktops, same thing for mobile internet, same thing with cloud and SaaS services. Companies die, more are recreated. Now, I know it's popular these days to say that big business, big tech, etc. destroys everything, but it's just not true. We continue to experience creative renewal. Old structures give way, more new businesses appear than the number that disappear, and the whole new categories of work and art show up. Now, I'm opening with this because music follows the same cycle. Every few decades, a new creation, a new creating tool, a new distribution rail transforms how we make and how people discover music. Tape, MIDI, DAWs, streaming, and now AI. The goal today isn't to pick sides. It's to understand the patterns so we can use the new tools to create more, faster, and better. So keep this slide in mind as our mental model. Now let's map these cycles directly to the music technology world. What changed, who adapted, and where the opportunities are for us as creators. So I'll map 8 cycles from 1900 to today. For each cycle, we'll look at the creation stack, the tools that make the sound, and the distribution rails, radio, records, CDs, the internet, streaming, that move the sound to listeners. By the end, you'll see a pattern. New tools don't erase music. They expand the canvas and shift where the value lives. AI fits into that pattern. There are differences we'll discuss, rights, scale, and speed, but the opportunity is huge if you adapt. So let's look at cycle 1. Early 1900s to 1925. At the turn of the century, music at home meant mechanical playback and acoustic recording. Player pianos and early discs let families hear symphonies in their living rooms. In theaters, musicians performed to silent films using cue sheets, an early version of today's spotting sessions. Now in cycle 2, from 1925 to 1948, electrical recording happens. Electrical recording changes captured quality overnight. With microphones, nuance and dynamic range jumped. Radio scales music discovery nationally, and talkies sync sight and sound. That's hard to say. Scoring to picture becomes a defined craft. You're writing to hit emotional beats and dialogue. The orchestra is the primary palette, and the studio becomes a creative instrument, not just a room. Now in cycle 3, magnetic tape, LPs, and editing as composition from the late 1940s to the mid-1960s. Tape changed everything. You can edit, you can overdub, you can design time. The LP turns the listening unit into a narrative arc, the album. Stereo makes space a creative choice. In post, editors and composers literally cut and assemble a narrative with tape. Sound effects and music concrete techniques enter the vocabulary of screen storytelling. On cycle 4, from the mid-60s to the mid-80s, multitrack studios layered production. You can build songs like architecture. Synths bring entirely new timbres. Cassettes and the Walkman take music personal and portable. For scoring, synths open new moods. Dystopian, futuristic, minimal. Stems and layers begin to matter. You hand off percussion only, pad only, lead only versions so mixtures can fit cues around the dialogue. Now cycle 5, MIDI sampling, mid-80s to late 90s. MIDI is a language that lets instruments talk. Suddenly, you can orchestrate entire arrangements from a keyboard. Sampling pulls real-world sound into the instrument family. CDs push fidelity and durability. This is the era of the mock-up. You present directors with realistic previews before hiring players. Delivery starts shifting to digital formats, sync becomes tighter, and revisions become faster. Now, cycle 6, late 90s to 2010. Studios move in the box. Editing is non-destructive. Recall is instant, and the plugin ecosystem explodes. On the distribution side, files fly over the internet legally and otherwise. TV timelines compress. Libraries and sample realism let you deliver broadcast-ready cues from a small room. Deliverables evolve. Full mix, alt mixes, stems, instrumentals. Now, cycle 7, 2010 to 2020. Collaboration moves to the cloud. You can record vocals in London, guitars in Austin, and mix in LA in the same afternoon. Meanwhile, streaming changes release strategy, singles, playlists, and metadata all matter. Directors review cues over secure links. ADR can happen across continents. Cue revisions and version control are part of daily life. Now, cycle 8 started in 2020 and still is going on today. AI can generate a musical idea in seconds. For professionals, the power is not one-click hit songs. It's faster iteration, temp cues, alternate moods, quick palette tests, and style studies. Used ethically, important, AI lets you explore 10 directions before lunch, then spend your afternoon making the right one great. Practical use, previs under pressure, alt takes to present tone options, reference-free sound-alikes that stay on the safe side of rights, and instant stems for editors. Keep provenance, document prompts, version, and sources. Now, patterns, pushback, and what actually changes. Across every cycle, two levers move together: new creation tools and new distribution rails. Each time, we see the same things. Democratization, more people can make stuff. Displacement, some roles shrink, new ones appear. Aesthetic debates, aka resistance. Tape splicing was cheating, sampling was theft, auto-tune was inauthentic. All three became part of the craft. And then standardization, adoption. Eventually we get stable formats and workflows, MIDI, DAWs, streaming specs, and the work gets faster. So what should we do now in the AI cycle? Lean into the tasks that remain scarce. That's taste, direction, storytelling, relationships, and trust. Is AI different? Three things are different with AI. Training data and rights. Legal frameworks are still evolving. It's not over yet. Choose tools with clear licenses, respect opt-outs, and keep paper trails. Scale and speed. You'll be overwhelmed with okay options. Winners will be editors with ruthless taste. And distribution is algorithmic. Great audio needs great metadata, thumbnails, timing, and context to find its audience. None of these break the pattern. They just tell you where to focus. So music isn't a straight line. It's a sequence of cycles. Each one shifts how we create and how listeners discover. If you're a composer or producer, AI is your next instrument. It won't decide what's beautiful or what fits picture. You will. In this video, I've been talking about how music creation and distribution have changed over time. These two rails or concepts go hand in hand. New tools expand what can be created. New distribution options dictate who hears it and even how they find it in the first place. Together, they redefine roles, workflows, and revenue possibilities. Now, history always repeats itself, for better or worse. When it comes to technology of any kind, there are generally four phases: democratization, displacement, resistance, and standardization or acceptance. Some businesses fail, but others are born. Historically speaking, opportunities have always increased. One door closes, more doors open. Now, every cycle we looked at followed the same arc. A breakthrough appears, it's noisy and uncomfortable. Then we learn the rules, build new workflows, and a bigger creative economy emerges. Tape didn't end musicians. It expanded what a musician could do. MIDI didn't end orchestras. It gave composers a way to explore before hiring them. DAWs didn't end studios. They put a studio inside more rooms. AI is the next instrument in that pattern. It can draft, separate, and suggest, but it can't decide what's meaningful. That's still you, your taste, your sense of story, your judgment under a deadline, your collaboration with directors and other artists. The job doesn't vanish, it evolves. So here's the mindset I want to leave you with. Don't compete with the tool, conduct the tool. Use AI to widen your option set, then use your ears to narrow it with intention. Document your process, keep your ethics tight, and ship your best work faster. And people say AI will take your job. The truth is simpler. Someone who knows how to use these tools will create more value than someone who doesn't. Be that someone. The music isn't going away, it's waiting for you to lead. I once heard a business leader say something along the lines of, people resist change not because of the change itself, but because they don't understand the why behind the change. In a similar vein, I've told adult learners, whether it's music or technology, that what they're trying to learn is not hard, it's just new. Practice and familiarity will increase your potential for success. You just have to be patient and willing to embrace new things. I hope this was entertaining, enjoyable, thought-provoking. Now, go make something great.